What's up guys, this is Quante and welcome back to more Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. In the last episode we completed Angel Island Zone, and in this episode we're going to be doing Hydro City Zone. Although I have heard people call it Hydrocity, which makes sense because that's the way it looks like when the whole zone screen comes up. Because like Hydro and City aren't spaced out, so it sort of looks like Hydrocity. But then again, I still think it's Hydro City mainly because, I mean, it's water, and then you have this sort of weird-looking place that I don't really know. I mean, the art style looks cool, you know, it doesn't seem like you'd see this sort of thing in any other game, so that's probably one of the reasons why I like Hydro City Zone so much. Mainly because it's just sort of different from what you'd see in any normal video game. You know, it just looks really cool to me. And this is actually, you know, the water level of this game. It's the second zone. Who knew? You know, usually water levels in Sonic games are really bad and nerve-wracking, but for some reason, I just really like this one. And I guess that's mainly because the water segments just really aren't that bad at all, and you actually spend a lot more time on land as well. So it's like half land, half water. But the water segments really aren't that bad, and dying on them just... I'm not gonna say you're bad at the game if you die on the water segments, but it's just like, one of the only things that's really a threat in the water is this particular type of fish that'll like drain your rings if it latches onto you, and that'll be a really bad situation. And it doesn't allow you to jump if it latches onto you either, so those are pretty annoying. But other than that, you know, it's a pretty chill zone, seeing as it's only the second zone, but whatever. But yeah, I really like Hydro City Zone. It's really, the atmosphere of it's really great. And we're on to the mini-boss of this stage, which is like a giant ball with missiles going around it. I don't know how else to explain it, but I used to have a lot of trouble with the boss when I was a kid, simply because I really couldn't figure out how to hit it, because those missiles actually shield it. But if you use your insta-shield, you can actually sort of get around it. Like, the insta-shield is basically, you press the jump button twice and a shield appears around Sonic, and it sort of protects him for like a split second, and even gives him a little bit more reach, which is actually a pretty useful tool to have. Because I used to think the instant shield was pretty retarded, because I was thinking like, well, Tails can fly, and Knuckles can glide, but they had to give Sonic this big gay white shield that does nothing, but it's actually really useful. But we're on to Hydrocity. I almost said Hydrocity Act 2. Almost contradicting what I said earlier. No, we're on to Hydro City Act 2. And it starts off with this giant wall coming towards us. Oh, oh. And I used to have a lot of trouble with this part because I never really spin dashed a lot when I played Sonic games. I still don't to this day. I mean, I spin dash a lot more than I did back in the day, but I hardly ever used a spin dash when I was a kid playing Sonic games. And that's just another very useful thing that I sort of thought was really stupid when I was a kid. Maybe I was the stupid one, not this game, you know. And so, lately I've been thinking that, I should do a Knuckles playthrough. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I guess to spice things up, I could actually have a thing where I, do co-coms every Knuckles episode. Sort of like what one of my friends Skid Flash did with his Kirby 64 LP. He just had a co-com for every single episode. And so if I'm ever to do a Knuckles playthrough, I might as well just like spice things up and get like people to co-com or something like that. You know, plagiarism, you know, stealing Skid Flash's ideas, but whatever. You know, how else would I make it interesting? Because it's basically like watching the same LP twice with a different character, you know, and a slightly shorter main game, but, I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna do a Knuckles playthrough. I guess if it's sort of demanded and if people actually want to do co-coms and if they're really easy to find, then maybe it could work out, but I don't really think it would. I don't really see a Knuckles playthrough as being a possibility as of right now. Unless, you know, that's actually an idea that people like and doing the whole co-com thing actually works out. But for some reason, I just don't think it will. I'm not really sure. But I really don't have very much to say about this this particular act. I mean, you don't go in water as much in this act, you're actually running a lot more, which is actually really cool. You know, it makes your adrenaline pump. Especially when I was a kid, you're just blasting through this zone like no other. Now, that was one of the things about Sonic, like with me as a kid, is that Sega was going for, you know, this character that had attitude, and, you know, for some reason that really appealed to me as a kid. Because the first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Adventure, and I just thought Sonic was the coolest thing back then, because you like running all fast and you have like this cool looking character, you know? It just seemed really, really cool to me. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's just like their trick worked on me, because it just really appealed to have. It was really appealing, good God, to have like this character that was just full of attitude, like Knuckles here. Like Knuckles was one of my favorite characters. Unlike Sonic, he doesn't chuckle, even though he just chuckled right there. That frickin' Sonic Adventure song lied to me. Knuckles does chuckle. Ah, but here we go. Here's Eggman. This boss really is a joke. You can kill this boss really easily, and you can use that attack that he just did, like, to actually hit him. You can jump on it and use it as a platform and hit him. And I think your insta-shield can actually reach Eggman if you're like, if you have a running start and you hit him with the insta-shield, that's an easy way to hit him too. And this boss pretty much is just really easy to make. And there we go. So I'm really deciding on whether if I should do Marble Zone next, or if I should just end the episode off here. I'm not really sure. I'm actually just thinking about going ahead and doing it, but I don't know. Maybe I should keep these videos relatively short. And why is Tails walking on water? Tails is Jesus now? I had no idea. That was a terrible joke. But I guess in the next episode of Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, we will be doing Marble Zone. So I will see you guys then.